Hello everybody, I'm SnipingIsFun, and in this video it's not really a response or to like game reviews or the same kind of video he did, but I was wanting to do something video like this for a little while, and then I decided to do a response maybe like a similar video on it. It's not exactly like what he said, but it's something similar that relates to next generation and gaming. His video was about will Nintendo save gaming again kind of thing. This video is just my thoughts on what I want to see next generation as a whole, from Nintendo, Sony, Microsoft, and everything. All I can say is, one thing that I do hope happens when the Wii U, the PS4, and Xbox 720, Xbox people call it, I don't know, whatever they call it, comes out. What I do hope, and I pray actually happens, is that this whole shooter craze, this first-person shooter craze that is going on, kind of dies down. Please make that happen. One thing that has annoyed me about this generation, and I know it's annoyed game reviews and a lot of gamers out there, is the uprising of like shooting games, first-person shooters. This entire generation, it overtook this generation by a long shot. And you guys may know I do like shooting games. I do like first-person shooters. It's not my favorite genre, but I do like first-person shooters and games that result in shooting. Reason why my name's SnipingIsFun, because I like using sniper rifles in those games. But it was an oversaturated and overrated genre this generation. There was shooting games out like every single month, every year. This entire generation has got like a ton of shooters, and they're always Call of Duty this, or Battlefield that, or Halo this, or whatever else they have out there. It's like the same thing over and over again. None of the games hardly ever, innovate or anything. They're always the same thing, different settings, different weapons, but almost always the same control type, the same thing, except for on the Wii and also Move, motion control kind of shooting, which in my opinion is better, and a ton of people's opinion is better because it's more accurate. Nothing against dual analog, because I can still play dual analog, but it's more accurate and can be used a lot better for more precise shooting than the Wii Remote Nunchuck motion controls. But I mean, like I said, I do like shooting games, don't get me wrong, and I would put it probably my top 5, and if not top 5, top 10 favorite genres of all time. But I don't like how oversaturated and overrated this generation it became. It's I know there's a genre every generation that always seems to overflate the generation. Last generation, I think it was RPGs as far as I heard. The generation before that, I think it was fighting games, and the 2 generations before that I think were platforming. So there always is something that oversaturates. The thing is, I don't think it's ever been as crazy as the first-person shooter craze that happened this generation. And I hope that next generation it evens out a little bit, because the fact that every company out there was so crazy about putting guns in their game or doing a first-person shooter left out a lot of genres this generation. For RPGs in general, really didn't get a whole lot of support this generation, Western or your Japanese kind of thing. And other things, they just didn't get enough, influence or whatever. They weren't there enough. And other genres as well, because every company out there was so obsessed with trying to go off the shooter craze to make money and everything, it got out of hand. And I hope next generation it dies down a little bit. And I do hope next generation, one shooting game I would like to see next generation is Time Splitters 4. Like I said, that's one game I do want to see. That's one shooting game I want to see, because that's like my favorite shooting franchise. That and like GoldenEye. And a few, I like playing Halo 1 and 2. I only barely played 3, and I haven't played any of the others. I used to be decently big Halo fan, and I'm like, I like playing the games, but it's just not one of my favorite franchises. So that's one thing. I would like next generation to have less of a shooter craze, 2. I would like Sony to go back to being more like they were in the PS1 and the PS2 generations. They had more of a wide variety of games. This goes back to the shooting thing. They had a lot of shooters though. And the whole thing is they need to... I'm not saying they should bring back a lot of their older franchises, but they have lost a lot of their franchises over the years. And I think they should try to grab a few of them back. I mean, there's, what's it called? Jet Moto. You know, Medieval, you know, they're older franchises. I think they should try to bring a few more of them back. They brought Twisted Metal back, but that, you know, it's, I mean, I know you have to innovate bringing new franchises, like all companies do that, but you have to keep on some of your older franchises too, and I think some of those should be brought back. The bad thing about Sony though is they did, like, two franchises that got me to really become like Sony fans were Spyro the Dragon and Crash Bandicoot, which of course last generation they lost exclusivity rights to, and pretty much Crash Bandicoot's dead now and Spyro's going down the toilet, which is sad. I just want Sony to try to return to being like that. Because they tried, I think, too hard to make a very powerful console this generation, and they just shot themselves in the foot, because Sony always had like the weakest console hardware-wise the last 2 generations, and this time they finally make the jump to the top. I think they got too ahead of themselves. They got too cocky. They thought making a more powerful console would have did well for them. It didn't. Their consoles are in last place. I just want them to go back to being more like they were back then, bringing back a few of their old franchises, keeping the franchises they have now. Nothing wrong against them. Making new ones still, and just not trying, because I don't know, it's just something about this generation really kind of, I don't know if they did it past generations, because I probably didn't pay attention way back then, but this generation, it seemed that they tried to get full and like ahead of themselves, because they kept like attacking like motion controls with like, oh motion controls are for kids and all this stuff, and they were attacking Kinect and attacking the Wii, and it's like they just, I don't know, it just seems, and Jack Tretton and all that stuff, it's like, I don't know, there's just something about Sony this generation. I mean, I don't have a PS3 yet. I have played my friend's PS3. I played like ones at the stores. I want to get a PS3. I just want to get cheaper. It still is a little too much money, in my opinion. $300 or $400 now. I forgot now. I would like to get one, but I'll wait till it gets cheaper probably. Or 360. I don't know. I'd rather get a PS3 though. I'd rather not have to deal with the red rings of death. But, like I said, I just want Sony to go more back to the way it was the last 2 generations. Try not to go, and that's probably going to happen on a power front, because as far as I've heard PS4, it's not going to be as huge of a leap from PS2 to PS3. So they're probably going to have an equal playing field with Wii U. I don't know where Microsoft will be in all of this, if they're going to try to go more powerful or not. But I think the Wii U and the PS4 are going to have similarities in power, because the Wii U is supposed to be like 50% more powerful than the PS3, and I know the PS4 is not going to be a huge leap, so they're going to be around the same kind of power, I think, of each other. The Xbox 720 Xbox, or whatever they call it, and people keep calling it an Xbox, I don't know. I don't know what they're going to call it. I'm just going to say 720. That one will probably be the most powerful next generation. I'm not really sure, because knowing Microsoft, they're going to do the power route. Don't know. So I don't know about that. Third, for Nintendo here, I want them to bring back more of the franchises. We didn't get to see F-Zero or Star Fox, Wave Race, 1080, or Pikmin, you know, stuff like that at all this generation. I want more of the franchise to come back. And Luigi's Mansion as well, but that's going to 3DS now, but they still could be a Wii U one. You know, just bring back more of the franchises they haven't done in a while, while also trying to bring out new franchises as well, which Nintendo always does. And this, I'm just going to finish it off with this one. I might do a sequel, I might do a continuation to this video eventually. But the last one is, I just don't want anyone to be, like, trying to be, like, making their, I don't want none of the systems to go based off trying to be super powerful. Just saying, there's like, Nintendo, we know, is not going to be the most powerful. Microsoft might have the best one. Sony will be equal pretty much to Nintendo. But I don't want it to then to market it as being power, or the graphics, or all that stuff. That's kind of, I don't want them to, I don't know I never really paid much attention to this generation, but there's a lot of graphic horrors, a lot of graphic nuts that came out of this generation. It is sad, and I'm sure it came out of previous generations as well. It's just sad how gamers determine how good a game is based exclusively off of graphics. I mean, they include gameplay in there, but they always put graphics above gameplay when it should be the other way around. Nothing against graphics. Graphics do matter. They don't matter as much as gameplay, or usually like story either, or music. You know, they matter. They're in the top. They matter up there on the high part of the list, but they don't matter as much as say other, you know, things. And that's about it. Those 4 reasons. I hope, like I said, shooters are not as overrated and overhyped and oversaturated. Next generation is where this time. I want Sony to try to go back to the way they were in PS1 and PS2, Nintendo to bring out more of their franchises, and no company to try to market it, like to market the graphics or market the power and try to go, oh, we're the most powerful, yeah. No. And if anyone does that, it's probably Microsoft anyways. And I might come up with some more reasons, but like I said, that's what I want to see in the future generation. I want it to be similar to this generation, but also different, because this generation, there was so much hate for the Wii, all this power craze, the shooting, like overhyped shooters, you know, the graphic horrors, all this hate and fanboy console war stuff. It's pathetic. I'm sorry. I know it's going to continue. There's no way that's ever going to stop. That's been going on since before I even paid attention to it. Back when I was even playing Super Nintendo, that was going on between Sega and Nintendo and all that. But I just want it to die down a little bit. Please. That's one thing that annoys me about this stuff. It's the haters too, you know. But that's never going to go away. That's the sad part. Hope you guys like this video. Please subscribe if you want to. See you guys later. And I'm finally today going to hook up my red Wii. Finally. I know I've had that for months now.